Jim, we were talking with Aziz just about how you've had such limited time with the players, but they did provide a really, really strong performance, just not the result. Maybe not a complete performance, if you like, but an encouraging side.
Yeah, I think there is plenty of encouragement to take from the 90 minutes. You know, of course, we were desperate for the result. We were desperate to, put points on the board, and unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. But I definitely saw real clear signs of the players taking on board what we'd asked them to do on the Thursday and Friday session. We've only had 48 hours together prior to the game, and I have to compliment the players for carrying out the instructions that we asked. Unfortunately, there was a number of mistakes in the build-up to the goals that we conceded, and of course these things happen. But the situation that we're in, we can't afford to be gifting teams goals. And I said after the game, nobody minds conceding a well-worked goal to the opposition where you get cut open or somebody does something, an individual bit of brilliance. But we played a big part in the 3 goals that we conceded, and they were really goals out of nothing. And unfortunately, we didn't get those breaks in the first half when we were so on top. And that's probably the bit that we're all looking back on now with a bit of frustration, is we started the game really, really well. The first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we were penning Aberdeen back, putting some great balls into the box, had numerous opportunities, and had things broke a little bit differently in and around the box, then we might have had an advantage at half time. But look, we can't legislate for some of the errors that led to the goals, but what we can do is learn from them.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Stephen Fletcher, I don't recall him missing, if you like, so many gilt-edged chances. He didn't miss them, and there was saves as well in there. But he's the kind of guy that will be the person that can fire you out of this predicament. Yeah,
listen, I thought Fletcher, all that was missing from his game was the goal. I thought his all-round performance was exactly what we wanted. He's one of the experienced members of the group. I thought he led by example right from the first minute. He never stopped working right till the end. He must be a centre-half's nightmare to play against because of his physical attributes. Aerially, he doesn't lose too many headers, but apart from that, he's a very, very good footballer technically as well. And I thought he held the ball up extremely well on Saturday. I thought we got good support to him with Harks and McGrath coming around the sides. And, his game overall was very, very good. All that was missing was that finishing touch in front of goal. But it certainly wasn't for the lack of trying. The one-on-one he has in the first half, I think it's a great save. I wouldn't put that down as a miss. I thought he got on the end of some good crosses into the box as well. He was just unfortunate with one or two not being able to direct them a little bit further away from the goalkeeper. But I think if we're going to have any success here in the next 11 games and we're going to be able to accumulate the points that's going to inevitably make us safe, then we need to keep providing him with those opportunities, because he's a top striker, and he's maybe been starved of opportunities of late. But if we can get him 3 or 4 good opportunities like we did on Saturday on a regular basis, then I'm convinced that he will eventually turn those chances into goals.
I know we could probably list half a dozen players that did well for you in the game. Jamie McGrath, Dylan Levitt, Hart's coming back in. I will pick on the captain though. As you said, it was unfortunate that Ryan Edwards, who was the rock that I think Tam Courts built a lot of his success on, was involved in some of the bad decisions, if you like, poor decision making, perhaps more than poor play, that led to some of the goals. Is he one where you're having to kind of just G his confidence back up, or are you confident you can just see through this and play through it, if you like?
I think the confidence of the group is obviously rocked a little bit, given the circumstances. The new signings who came to the club in the summer, didn't come to the club to be involved in this kind of predicament. They all anticipated Dundee United with the squad of players that was put together to be challenging in that top half of the table. There are a number of players right now that are obviously low on confidence, but Ryan is unfortunate from the weekend. I think he's a really strong character. He was given the captain's armband for a reason, because the previous managers believed in him and believed in his leadership qualities. Mistakes can happen to any player. Unfortunately, as a defender or as a goalkeeper, if you make those mistakes in those key situations, then inevitably it can lead to goal-scoring opportunities. I think Aberdeen capitalised on the 1 or 2 mistakes that we made. As I said, they weren't brilliantly worked goals from an Aberdeen perspective, but they punished us. On the other hand, we weren't able to do the same to them. So I don't have any concerns about Ryan's mental state, if you like. I think he's a strong enough boy. He's been in the game long enough, and he knows what he has to do to enable to get back to playing to the levels that he's capable of. But I would rather focus on the positives of the weekend. I've had a number of messages from people within football, supporters, and even people who have been at the Dundee United games throughout the course of the season, and they all saw a reaction on Saturday, a far better team performance, some really good individual performances as well, but it was about the team for me, the collective unit. And I think if we can continue in that vein going forward consistently throughout the next 11 games, then I think we'll give ourselves a brilliant chance of survival.
Performances are one thing. Against Livy, I'm guessing you just want points.
Yeah, I think we're at a stage of the season now where the results are probably more important than the performance. We're not going to get too many pats on the back for playing well and losing games. I spoke on Thursday to the players. If we have to grind out results and we have to win ugly, then that's what we have to do. I said to you guys, I think it was Friday, about now's not the time to be talking about philosophies and style of play. It's about just getting the results required. The big thing for me is that we're not massively adrift at the bottom. We've got a run of games coming up now that we believe we're capable of picking up some serious points in. Once we get to the split, we need to make sure that we're right there or thereabouts, and then you've got 5 massive games after the split against teams that'll be in and around you at that time. So we're in terms of the mood in the camp this morning, there wasn't any moping around. Nobody was feeling too down on themselves, albeit extremely disappointed with the result. But it would have been far worse if I was coming in here this morning having seen a weak, tepid performance. I didn't see that. I saw really good characters, individuals that cared about the club, and I thought the reaction of the supporters, both at half-time and after the game, albeit frustrated after the game, I think they saw a performance from a group of players that actually showed that they cared, and that's all any supporter wants to see. Thank you very much.
Hi Jim. When you came in, you said that you wouldn't have taken the role on if you didn't believe you could keep this club up. Now, Saturday's result might not have went the way you had hoped, but the performance level, certainly in an attacking sense especially, was far different from what we've seen from Dundee United. Is that performance sort of only furthered that belief that you can keep this club up?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, the guys have been, the players and the staff that I've come in to work with, they've been so receptive to what we're asking them to do, and they've taken on board. They're all understanding of the situation. They realise what is required to get us out of it, and it's not going to be easy. Nobody in this game is going to give you anything easily. You're going to have to fight tooth and nail to go and get it, and you've got to earn the right. And it's something that I thought the players showed in abundance on Saturday. As I said, we shot ourselves in the foot at times in the goals that we conceded, and we need to make sure going forward that we don't gift the opposition any of these opportunities in the future. But I still believe in the group of players. As I said, we've only been working together. We've had 3 training sessions together in a game. I haven't changed my mind over the weekend. I firmly believe that there's enough within this group to turn things around. A lot of good individuals. The pleasing thing for me on Saturday was they didn't play like individuals, they played like a team. And even the players who came off the bench, I thought, made an impact. Sadat in particular, he offered us a different dimension with that attacking threat. And it gives me a bit of food for thought now for Wednesday as well. So, we're very optimistic about the games to come, and we'll keep believing and we'll keep fighting and hopefully get that little bit of lady luck that sometimes you require, because we didn't carry a great deal of that on Saturday. We should have went in front early doors, and unfortunately weren't able to do that. So we go again on Wednesday. We can't dwell on the weekend. We have to focus now on the next game.
Aziz said and since you came in, you went back to basics, and that's as a manager coming in, you've had 2 games in quick succession, not much training time. Like, what do you have to say in training? What do you bring to try and sort of bring about a change in the team?
Well, listen, I'm big on intensity and training and hard work, and we've not asked the guys to do anything out of the ordinary in terms of that commitment and that level of effort. We want guys to show us in training that they are 100% committed to the cause. Up to now they have been, and if any of that drops off, then we've got decisions to make about whether those individuals remain around the group. I hope we don't ever get to that point, but what I've seen in the last 3 training sessions, the game on Saturday is a fully committed group, and one that is as determined as what I am to put things right. Aziz is right. I spoke to the players on Thursday about the need for not trying to reinvent the wheel here, not to bog them down with too much information. We wanted the team to be organised. We wanted the shape of the team to be good on Saturday, which it was for large periods. We wanted to simplify some of the attacking rotations and just encourage our wing backs to push a little bit higher, to be a little bit more offensive and a wee bit braver in the attacking third. And I thought we got all that. We put more crosses in on Saturday than what we have in previous games. Stephen Fletcher had first contact in the box on Saturday more than I think he has had all this season. So when you got a striker of Fletcher's ability and quality, you need to make sure that the supply is there, and that's, I think, something that's been lacking. So that's something that we're going to continue to give that message to the players, and if we do that, then, as I said, we'll give ourselves a chance of scoring goals.
Livingston's usually a tough place to go, but at this stage, are you very much just concentrating on what you can do as a team then, rather than worrying too much about the opposition? Yeah,
I think Livingston have had a good season up to now. Obviously, Davey will be looking for a reaction from his players after the disappointment of Saturday, but I tend not to focus too much on the opposition. We always respect the opposition and we do our own analysis on them, and we'll give the players as much information as we feel is necessary on the day. But you know what you're going to get with Livy, that's for sure. You're going to get a full-blooded, committed performance, and first and foremost we've got to go there and match Livingston's effort, and then hope that the quality that we've got in the group can come out on top.
Just looking at the game on Wednesday, what's the team news ahead of the game on Wednesday?
Yeah, we've got one or two slight concerns after the game on Saturday. We'll need to assess the squad fully tomorrow. One or two have been seeing the medical team this morning, so we've got a couple of decisions that we'll need to make on whether we can risk those individuals. Peter Pawlett and Glenn Middleton have been making good progress behind the scenes. Two very good players, potentially two very influential players as well, who we certainly could have done with on Saturday, because either coming off the bench and making an impact, or from the start, both of those players can add a different dynamic to the forward line. So we're trying to push those two as quickly as we can without causing any more damage, really. So we've got the bulk of the squad that was available on Saturday available to us, and then one or two question marks over a couple.
The offensive play on Saturday is probably more than has been over the last few weeks. 20 shots on target, I think it was, for the
24.
Right,
attempts I should say, not on target, but attempts.
So I mean, what do you put that down to? Just the difference between where the team was before you came in and what's appeared there on Saturday?
I never really like hearing new managers especially, coming in and talking about previous managers and previous styles of play. I've got far too much respect for Liam Fox, who's one of the nicest guys you could ever wish to meet in football. So I'm certainly not going to sit here and talk about where they were going wrong during that time. All I can talk about is what we asked the players to do, the message that we gave to the players on Thursday and Friday. And if you were reading the paper yesterday and weren't aware of the scoreline, and all you saw was the stats, and you had to choose which team had won the game, then based on the 24 goal attempts that we had and Aberdeen's 9 attempts, and the number of crosses and corners and possession, all of those key metrics were in our favour. Unfortunately, that one that's the most important, whereas the goals scored column, was against us. But if we can continue to have that level of consistency, and the stats are that high on a regular basis, then we will win more games than what we will lose. In terms of the players, I have to give them great credit. Honestly, I think I've been a player before in a dressing room where a manager's been sacked, and it's very unsettling for them. I think I'm the third manager in a season that's been through that door, giving them a different message, and that's why we've just tried to simplify things. I think we can get carried away with style of plays and philosophy and everything else. All I want to see from whatever 11 I decide to put on the pitch is maximum effort, maximum commitment. Show everybody that's connected to the club that you care and that you've got a desire to go and put things right. Now, I'm not going, and I said to the players this morning, I'm not going to give them too many plaudits for that, because that should be a minimum requirement. You know, in terms of effort and in terms of commitment, that should be there week in, week out, regardless of opposition. But we have to make sure that that's there, that mindset is there consistently. And if we do that, then the quality that's in the squad is there for everybody to see. Some really good experience, some guys in the squad who have played at the highest level, strong characters, and I can sense a real feel from the players that they are so desperate to make amends, that they're well aware of the circumstances that they're in, and they just want to put things right, and that's all we'll continue to do.
Any concerns about going down to Livingston on Wednesday, or what are your biggest concerns about going down there on Wednesday?
Listen, you know what you're going to get with Livy. You know, they're a very well organised team, very hard working. You know, Davy's a very, very good coach, and I think Davy's adapted his style of management over the last 3 or 4 years. You know, Livingston were very much renowned as a direct long ball team, and he's tactically made some changes, which is credit to him, and it shows the quality of coach that he is, and he's changed the system a little bit. And they probably sometimes don't get the credit they deserve for being as good a football team as they are. So, you know, I think first and foremost we've got to be up for the scrap, we've got to be up for the battle, we've got to win those individual battles all over the pitch, and then it will come down to what team has got more quality in the final third. And as you said, you know, in the lead up to your question, if we are to have another 24 goal attempts, and if we're to put as many crosses into the box as what we did on Saturday in the game on Wednesday night, then I would predict that we would take advantage of those situations more on Wednesday than what we did on Saturday.